Well, this certainly is troubling. There's a fight brewing between the Mexican government and cruise companies that could result in no more cruises to Mexico. That would be devastating. That would be devastating. And did you notice that this was missing on your last cruise? Yeah, cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I am your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views. And I'm going to set it right before your face on a Saturday the 30th of November, 2024. And let's kick it off with cruise news story number one. Cruise companies are troubled. They're troubled particularly with the Mexican government because they passed a new law that will impose a tax on cruisers to the tune of $42 per passenger starting in 2026. And it's an interesting thing that's going on there. There's been this tax for a while in Mexico, an immigration fee for non-residents, and for the most part, cruisers have been exempt, but the latest iteration of the Mexican government seemingly doing away with this exemption, planning to impose what is now labeled a non-resident fee on cruisers. Well, the cruise lines, they're not too happy about it. They've sent a letter to the president of Mexico saying, hey, look, we don't think our passengers should pay this $42 fee. The letter was sent formally from the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association. It's a nonprofit trade organization for the cruise industry. It represents 23 cruise lines. Specifically, the trade organization was writing on behalf of Carnival Cruise Line, MSC Cruises, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian Cruise Line. And in this letter, they outlined their case saying, look, we've made a big investment in Mexico, put a lot of money into Mexico with infrastructure and bringing all these cruise ships here, and we think we deserve some consideration. And in addition to making those points, the letter also suggests that this tax may slow or stop cruise ships from coming to Mexico. That's a pretty bold thing to be saying. I mean, they're really fighting for their business. They know that this would be an additional cost and this would make the cost of cruises go up. Already in a market where cruise prices are high, I'm sure they're watching closely. This whole dance between raising prices and the rise in demand. How far can they push the price up? It's a profit-driven business. Any of these other operating costs like extra taxes, and these are in addition to the other taxes that are already being charged. And interestingly, the AP reports that 2/3 of the money that's being raised by this new incentive in 2026, that money is earmarked for the Mexican army. It's not even earmarked for like port development or anything like that. So it's an interesting scenario. Cruise lines have already posted their 2026 itineraries. They're already taking bookings for 2026, bookings that will take you to Mexico. Who knows how it's going to play out, but I think cruise lines, like most of us, when the tax man cometh, if it seems unjust, they raise their hand and go, man, maybe we don't want to do this. Do they have enough sway to make this tax go away, or could we come to a time where there's no cruising in Mexico? That'd be wild. Could you imagine leaving out of southern Florida or the west coast of Florida and not going to Cozumel, or leaving out of the port of Los Angeles and not going to Cabo or the Mexican Riviera? It'd be wild. It would change the way cruising is. So hopefully they can get this ironed out, and cruising will continue to Mexico. Right now, it just seems like that's something they're saying could happen. Hopefully it doesn't really have the teeth, but maybe it has the effect that they're hoping. So I don't know. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Now, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge that it is Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, and share with you one thing that I purchased on Amazon. This is my favorite charger that I like to take with me on the cruise ship. It's the big Anchor charger. It's got 2 AC outlets, 2 USB-A's, 2 USB-C's. Can charge my laptop, a lot of things, but it's a little big. And so I went looking to see what Anchor had on sale on Amazon today. And I found a Cyber Monday special that's already in effect for a smaller version of my favorite charger. So I think I'm going to add it to the kit. I did leave a link for that in the first comment and in the description, But I'd love for you to go check out that charger, or just click that link to check out the charger, and then explore Amazon. Get some stuff for Black Friday, for Cyber Monday. And if you do click that link, it'll help out the channel. Thank you in advance. Okay, activity number 2 on today's episode. I just want to quickly chronicle some of the things that are no longer standard on cruise ships when it comes to lounges and experiences. I'm talking about things like libraries. If you've been cruising for a while, have you noticed the trend to no longer put libraries on cruise ships? Now, fortunately, some cruise lines still invest in libraries. Holland America Line, for example, had a very nice library on that cruise that I was on the MS Eurodam. But for the most part, you see this library concept going away from cruise ships. In addition to that, internet cafes. It used to be a thing where there would be a place where you could go and possibly use a computer or get help with a computer. More and more, that's not the case. It seems like the internet cafe has turned into like a help desk kiosk where somebody will be there certain hours to help you with your internet problems. But the whole concept of having an internet place cafe, that is starting to go away. And we're also seeing the exit on many cruise lines of the cigar lounge. This used to be a staple in cruising. Most every cruise ship would have a place where you could go smoke a cigar. This would be different than, say, a smoking area where people smoke cigarettes. And then there's one other thing that's starting to disappear, and that is chapels on cruise ships. It was recently brought up on Carnival social media that, hey, we noticed that the chapels are going away. And then the affirmation was made, yeah, the chapels are going away. And, look, everything changes, right? Cruise lines are constantly trying to figure out how to optimize the space and the real estate on a cruise ship. And I'm sure they crunched the numbers on it and said, hey, we monitored it. Not everybody was using the chapel, or not enough people were using the chapel to justify allocating that space to a chapel. I just want to throw it out there. You think about it, libraries, internet cafes, cigar lounges, chapels. Are you starting to feel like some of these things are missing? Do any of those places, is that where you'd like to go? That kind of thing? Do you think it's wise to get rid of these things? Has cruising changed that much, or is it something that you will miss? Now, I do want to circle back around to a conversation we were having yesterday. I told you about the guy that was on the Carnival Magic who assaulted another passenger with glassware and was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. I think I said he got 50 months of anger management. I think it's only 50 hours. And surprisingly, at least to me, I kind of got called to the carpet for advising people not to get into a confrontation with an unknown person, with a stranger on a cruise ship. I was accused of victim shaming. I take that seriously. So I thought about it. Maybe I just need to make the point again. Certainly the person that committed the assault that got the prison time, which I reported on, is in the wrong. They should not have assaulted anybody for any reason. That's a bad thing. But what I'm saying is that when you're on a cruise ship, what I know from these incidents, these fights on a cruise ship, most of the time, both people are initiating something. In its simplest form, somebody says something or does something to somebody else, and a fight breaks out. And what I'm suggesting is that if you don't want that to happen, don't say something to somebody else. Don't confront someone if you're upset. Don't confront someone if you feel wronged. Go get somebody to help you do that. I think that's what I said in the show yesterday, but somehow that's victim shaming. I don't know if it is. If it is, certainly that wasn't the intention. My only intention is to remind people that cruise ships are filled with people that you do not know. And again, you don't know how they're going to react to whatever. And so if you can not be the person to cause a reaction, then don't do that. Seems to me that people are like, I should be able to say anything to anybody and there should be no ramifications for that. And that's, you're just not living in reality. That's just not the reality of the world. And it's not the reality of cruising. You don't have control over the reactions of other people. And so if you want to avoid the most negative reactions of other people, then don't interact with them. I don't know if that cleared up anything, but I thought it was worth saying again. And hopefully I didn't confuse anybody. The guy that went to jail is a bad man. He went to jail. So That seems obvious. I don't think we're going to be reaching him today with our message, but there's a lot of people out there listening that will go on cruise ships that hopefully will think twice before getting into some sort of confrontation when it's not necessary. Now let's move from that exciting topic to another topic that never gets anybody upset: cruise ship tipping and people's relationship to the assigned gratuity. There is a survey out there that I want to take. I haven't taken it yet. A survey out there, and the question's simple. Do you make changes to your daily gratuities? Never. Only when something bad happens. Every time. I did not know that you could do that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click my option, which would be never. I have never removed the daily gratuities. Now, before I show you the results of that poll, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything going on in cruising, please consider subscribing. That felt good. Cruising. Please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Okay, here's the results of the poll. 61.7% of the people said never. Only if something bad happens. 10.64% of the people said that. Every time said 12.77% of the people. And I did not know you could do that. 14.89% of the people. I just realized there's not that many people voting on the. I'm going to put the same poll up on the La Lita Loca community tab. I'll have it up. It's up right now. Go ahead and start voting, or you can comment on your justification if you'd like to do that. Thanks for watching the show today. Boom, that's your cruise news. Tony for La Lita Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.
Cruise news, cruise news, cruise news, it's over.